Aged just 21, Princess Charlotte of Wales died at the age of 21 after a 50-hour labour. Princess Charlotte was the only daughter of George, the Prince Regent, and his wife Caroline of Brunswick. She was, of course, the granddaughter of George III and his wife Queen Charlotte, and she was therefore expected to ascend the throne after the death of her grandfather and her father. She was considered the hope of the nation. People were looking forward to a new reign. She would have been queen in her own right, something that would have been hugely significant. In 1816, she married for love. She married Prince Leopold, who was later King of the Belgians. And only a year later, she was already pregnant, and so this was a joyous occasion for the whole country. In this lovely portrait of Princess Charlotte, located in the National Portrait Gallery in London, we actually see her pregnant. She is dressed in a maternity dress. And amazingly, this dress still survives, is located in the Royal Collection, and it is called the Russian dress because it was inspired by Russian fashions. So here she sits, full of hope, full of excitement. She is pregnant, she is beautiful, she is young, she is married for love, and everything seemed to be going well. Little did she know, bless her, that this was going to be the last year of her life. It was believed that Charlotte was going to give birth on the 19th of October 1817, but this day came and so did the end of October, and nothing seemed to be happening. Eventually, on the evening on the 3rd of November, Princess Charlotte's contractions thankfully began. Princess Charlotte's care during her pregnancy and during the delivery was entrusted to Sir Richard Croft, this man here. The first stage of her labour apparently lasted 26 hours, and of course by this point people were beginning to get worried. And so during the second stage of labour, Sir Richard Croft finally asked for help. He sent for a trained obstetrician called Dr. John Sims. The second stage of labour was to last another 24 hours, and poor Princess Charlotte was really suffering by this time. Remember, there was no anaesthetic, and so she was in dire straits. It was diagnosed that the baby was lying across the room and was not in the right position to be delivered. And although forceps might have helped, this had fallen out of favour in the British community because of the risk of infection, and so nothing was done. Also, a caesarean section during this period of time would almost certainly have resulted in Princess Charlotte's death. Eventually, however, Princess Charlotte did deliver a baby. She delivered a 9-pound stillborn boy. Although, of course, devastated by the news that her baby was dead, Princess Charlotte's health seemed to be okay. She seemed to be recovering. She took some nourishment and started to rest up and recover her strength. Her husband, Prince Leopold, was, of course, by her side. Only 5 hours later, though, Princess Charlotte started to vomit violently, complaining of pains in her abdomen, and she very quickly died. Poor Charlotte is thought to have died from postpartum bleeding, a bleed that just would not be stemmed. As you can imagine, her family, her husband, and the whole nation were completely and utterly devastated by this news. In this painting of her, we see her ascending to heaven, carrying her little stillborn boy with her. The whole country went into deep mourning, and linen drapers ran out of black cloth because everyone was wearing black and draping their houses in black as a mark of respect. Even the poor and the homeless tied black armbands onto their arms to show their sorrow. The country effectively ground to a halt. Shops closed for 2 weeks, as did the Royal Exchange and the law courts. Charlotte's father was so devastated that he couldn't even attend her funeral, and her mother Caroline fainted upon hearing the news, and she said when she recovered, "England, that great country, has lost everything in losing my ever-beloved daughter." But the greatest effect, of course, was on Princess Charlotte's most beloved husband, Prince Leopold. One commentator actually said of poor Prince Leopold that without Charlotte he was incomplete. It was as if he has lost his heart. But the tragedy had not ended there. Poor Sir Richard Croft, although he'd done his best, the country absolutely blamed him, and he later took his own life because he was so devastated by the loss of Princess Charlotte.